One of the most important parts of drawing people into any medium is stakes. The bigger the stakes are, the more people are going to be invested in the plot. And if you have no stakes, people are going to walk away bored. Take a movie like Infinity War, for instance. It's one of the largest movies in terms of stakes ever made, and it's also one of the highest grossing films of all time. And the same can be applied to video games. If the stakes aren't high, people are just gonna drop the game as soon as they can. But this is actually something that Order and Chaos Online really excelled in. And in this video, I'm going to try to explain why Order and Chaos Online had such a great main story. Let's start with one of the smaller introductory zones, the Tanned Land. In the Tanned Land, you start out by killing some tamed boars and wolves. And in the end of the quest line, you're fighting an evil group of spies, which is a lot grander than killing just boars or wolves. So even a zone as small as the Tanned Land has stakes, and this is important. The Arcadian Forest is very similar. You start off in a peaceful village killing boars and wolves, but later on you move on to killing things like bandits and goblins. The climax of the story is about one of the zone's largest towns having a rebellion. But when you get to the bottom of it, you find out that there is much more at play than just a simple rebellion. This zone once again raises the stakes as you get along in the story, realizing that this peaceful hamlet is not all as peaceful as you thought. The Tear Coast is similar. You find out that a courier has been murdered, and the trail leads you to Belshow. In Belshow, you find out that the city is being protected by bandits, but not all is well, and the further that you progress, the more you realize that the townsfolk are being deceived by the people they thought were protecting them. In the Swamp of Worms, the zone starts with you killing monsters and helping out townspeople as usual. But when you find a woman who has lost her partner, it leads to killing the actual god of the swamp, the one being keeping the demons from invading Susnaya Marsh. This results in you having to team up with a powerful Werghast in order to stop the demon invasion. In the Whispering Islands, you start off by helping the psionic Aristars, a people enslaved by a god for generations. The climax of the story sees you confronting the very god that has been confronting the Aristars for all this time. The Great Desert Zone starts with you investigating an invasion launched against the Whispering Islands. By the middle of the quest lines, you're helping out a never-before-seen race, and it ends with you helping out a dragon god, a being believed to be one of the original gods that created the entire world. The Sinskull Rift questline begins with you helping out a drunk, and this leads you to helping out a family that has been searching for a lost king for generations. This leads you to a new world full of danger, created by this king himself. The climax sees you fighting the Mad King and finding out that he made a deal with demons that caused all of the Sinskull Rift to go from a paradise into literal hell. In the Underrealm, you start out helping enslaved Mendels. Then you're tasked with helping out Dark Elves fight Scythians, all while thinking that the Dark Elves are the good guys. But the more you find out about the Dark Elves, the more you realize that they are in fact the villains, and that the corruption runs deep within their civilization. The game's main story ultimately ends in the Eternal Frostland, the largest and most dangerous zone in the game. You are sent there by the Fire Abbey to find shards of a hammer rumored to have been wielded by the mighty god Khalin. The Fire Abbey believes that the shattering of the hammer is the cause of the demon invasion all across Haradon. But you're not alone in trying to get to the hammer, because the forces of darkness themselves are also trying to get the hammer before you can. But the more pieces of the hammer that you obtain, the more it starts to seem like the hammer won't save Haradon.